Hey, I'm Kate, your Millspo BFF. So many people today in like the spouse community specifically, new spouses come in and then seasoned spouses are like, oh, make sure you find your community. You need to find that community for your support. And when I first joined this group of people, I had no idea what that meant. Like community and what? Neighbors, friends, MWR events? Like, do I have to be friends with my husband's coworker spouses? Is that required? I didn't know. I really didn't want that because I had heard so many stories, and like, I'm on Facebook for the marketplace, as so many are. So looking on the wives pages, I didn't have a strong urge to be friends with the women who posted on those regularly, if that makes sense. And I know a lot of other spouses who I am not friends with feel the same way, or they hop on there just to see like what drama's stirring up in the neighborhood. I don't know. Not my cup of tea. Maybe it's yours, but it's definitely not mine. So when we first became active duty and active duty family and we moved to our first duty station, I had no friends. I thought that people were just gonna like come on over because in We Are Soldiers, I don't know if you've ever seen that movie with was it Mel Gibson? It's Vietnam era, and there's like wives groups who get together and like talk about the shit that goes on in our lives and like how to fix it or deal with it. And that just doesn't happen anymore because you get those stupid Facebook groups who just spew off like, oh, make sure you call me by my husband's rank, or I better get saluted the next time I go in through the gate because the gate guard didn't do that. No one wants that. Who wants to be friends with that? Not me. Sorry, not my cup of tea. Again. But there is now this disconnect between the community, the like true friendship of just to be friends and like have someone to go through the normal crap that you do at your current location. And I think I've recently figured out why. And it's because I have made and connected with a lot of new people that I actually truly enjoy being around in like the last 3 months. We've been at this current location for over a year, like a year and a half now. And it's taken me this long to like really realize what community means. So there's your long distance community, right? Like your true childhood friendships, the family that will support you in whatever, right? Like they're your foundational support, and they probably will never understand how you live. They just won't, because they probably have never, I mean, unless you come from a military family, they won't understand the innuendos of our lifestyle. They just won't. That's just factual. So you could try to explain it or describe it in a way that they would understand or connect with, and they still truly won't feel the feelings that you have or understand how you could still hold joy in your life and be happy and live it and fulfill every day while your spouse is deployed or TDY or just not with you right now. That's a huge concept for people to like wrap their head around. I don't know why. It's like you have to be in this perpetual state of misery while your spouse is in there. Like you can't have fun. You know, I don't know. That's not what we do. And we're living life. Like I said, I've made so many new friends while my spouse is deployed. And that is out of necessity. Like my best friend isn't here. I don't get to talk to him every day. I mean, we get to talk to him most days, but it's not all day, right? Because he's busy doing stuff. So we have like our standard time that we do our 10, 20-minute calls. But that's not all the time. And I need to off gas too. Like I need to have adult conversation with an actual person who's here, not just on the phone, you know? Like you need to have that connection. So that is the importance of finding your people, your community, your friendships while you're living at that station. And it doesn't have to be on base. We're on base now, which makes it easier. But honestly, I have more friends off base. I know more people off base. I started coaching part-time at a local YMCA as a gymnastics coach. I'm now friends with my co-coach, the coordinator of the program, and a lot of the women who drop their kids off are military families. So she invited me to a church event Saturday night a couple days ago, and my oldest got to skate around with a couple of the other girls, and I hung out with the wives or the other moms who were just sitting at the table, and it was awesome. It was awesome. Then my coworker invited us to her church, so we went to a new church yesterday, Sunday, and it was amazing. It was bullshit aside, it was the best church, the most homey church I have been to, ever. And I went to the same church for years when I lived in New York. I don't know what it is. Like, all of a sudden, once I opened myself up, this place, our duty location, opened itself up. And now I love it here. Now I love it here. And I know we're going to be moving. I know we're going to be moving soon-ish, eventually. And it's going to be a real bitch to say goodbye. But you know what? That's just another caveat to our life, right? Like, and that is another thing. I think at our first location, we were at Fort Bragg, and a part of me didn't want to open myself up because moving from New York down to Bragg, that was the first time I had ever like permanently moved away from my hometown and my group of friends. And I think I was so afraid to make new friends that I didn't want that same feeling of leaving, like leaving someone behind. But I have to say, the people that I've met recently and the friendships that I've made far supersede the people that I thought I was friends with back in New York. And that's really hard for me to say because the group of friends that I came from, we did everything together. We were always together. And I thought what I had with them was real friendship. And then I moved, and I don't talk to any of them anymore. Sometimes that happens, right? Sometimes that happens in our life. You think you have awesome friends who say that they're going to be friends with you forever. And then just life happens, But like with me, it will happen with you that you meet new people who fulfill those connection needs. And even if they're just temporary friends, which I know a lot of them are just going to be like temporary friends that we hang out with here. And then once we move, and we're going to make new temporary friends. Or maybe not. Or maybe I'm going to still connect with these people and we'll exchange numbers or whatever Instagram handles, and we'll keep up with each other. And that is the beauty of living this life. You get to have freaking friends everywhere. Everywhere. This one woman that I spoke to at the skating event, she said her husband's near retirement. They've been in for 19 years. They lived in Germany. They lived in Colorado. They lived in Georgia. Like, they lived in Germany. How many other people with regular jobs get to just go to Europe for a couple years and live there? I mean, no one I know. No one is making that much money where they're like, you know what? I think I'm going to go live in Europe for a few years. Check it out. And maybe I'll come back. That's amazing. That's amazing. We actually had an opportunity to go to Italy. My husband's date to show up there was like 10 days after my youngest was born. So it wasn't the time in our life to make a long flight with a 2-year-old and a 10-day-old. But that would have been awesome. Maybe when our kids are older, you know, Allure, Alaska. Oh my gosh. We live such an incredible life, and so many other people shit on it, to be frank, because they just don't understand. But once you live it, once you're in it, and you open yourself up to all the possibilities, it's magical. And I don't want to sound that like some hokey, crappy way. Like, it is. I have made friends here. I have cultivated a community for myself while my husband is deployed with young children. I mean, living on base, yeah, it's a little easier, but with people off base, and it's amazing. I love that I have my own friends. I love that they're not connected to my husband's unit. You know, I mean, like, unit things are great, MWR things are great, but it's like I have my own people. I have my own things. I can be my own self. Like, I'm not my husband's wife or my dad's daughter or my brother's sister, you know, like or even my sister's sister. Me have my own things, and you can have your own things. That's a huge part of our life. You need your own things away from the military, away from base. You need to, it's so hard for people to branch out, and it was for me. It like, I don't know what it was. I didn't think that people would like who I am or agree with what I had to say, or, you know, but you gotta be brave. You gotta be brave and open yourself up. Because when you do, it's an indescribable feeling to have conversations with people who actually understand what it's like to just like be able to openly talk without judgment, because you know that they have been through the same thing. So it's like, oh yeah, just like the random, oh my gosh, I just can't, I sound like I'm rambling now, but it's awesome. And I wish more people in our military spouse community really understood how awesome it is. And that brings us to why I created AMotherShoots.com and Silver Lining Collection, to help them understand that they don't have to just sit in the shit pit struggle all the time. Yes, things about our life are hard, but about everyone's life is hard. You know, like you have to look at the specific thing you're dealing with. You can't compare yourself to your friend whose husband or themselves have a civilian job, because it's just not the same. Like, they're going to have the same vanilla schedule every single week. They're going to wake up at the same time. They're going to do the same thing with their pets in the morning. They're going to get ready. They're going to drive the same route. They're going to go to the same job. They're basically going to do the same thing there. And then they're going to do that in reverse. They're going to come home. They're going to, you know, get the kids off the bus or whatever you guys do, homeschool, whatever. It's the same thing. With military life, it's always different. So the perspective has to shift. Like, you're not dealing with a civilian job, you're dealing with a military job, right? So they're not going to come home at the same time every day. They're not going to be able to eat dinner with you every day or come home for lunch, because sometimes shit happens in the motor pool, or, you know, like other little trainings throughout the day. Like, someone higher up might be like, oh, you know what's a good idea? Let's do a 20-mile ruck march after PT. I don't know. Like, that's just a for example. So our life is always changing, where their life is very constant. And that's the biggest shift that us spouses have to change our perspective on. And no one helps you connect those dots like other military spouses. Right? You bring something up and they're like, oh yeah, I've done that. Like, this has happened to us. So we just did this and that's what worked for us. And you're like, mind blown, because I've been struggling with this for like a few months or a year now. And ta-da, new friend. Rant over. It's very difficult to open yourself up, especially if you're not used to branching out on your own. It's definitely scary. Going to the church with our 2 kids by myself was definitely a little scary. But I really enjoyed it. Like, if you enjoy something, do something. Like, if you enjoy painting, try going to like a studio or like those sip and paints or whatever. Go by yourself. That's okay. You can do things by yourself. You're not a weirdo. No one's gonna look at you and be like, oh, she has no friends. Well, you know what? Maybe that's true, and I'm looking for friends. Do the things that you have always loved to do, and the friends will follow. The community will find you. That's how you find the community. By going out and doing the things that you have always loved to do. Easiest hack. Do what you like. So if you've been feeling miserable in your military life, head to amotherstruth.com. There's just everything there. Freebies, little tips, guides, hacks that are all free. And then there's workbooks for separation, how to prepare, plan for it. I'm type B. I got a plan. I'm trying to be a little more type A, so it's not just chaos in my brain. But it's a very type B book. It's nothing crazy. You know, a lot of stuff. There's a whole book categorizing all the major things that we encounter in our life. So go check it out. I know it'll help me writing it. So I will see you back here next time. Everyone have a great day, and I'll see you at amotherstruth.com.